sexual. So I will tell you right now, if you're a parent, if you're a family member, and you know a young person in your family that is showing interest in the whole furry culture, you need to get them to therapy as soon as humanly possible. Because there is something going on there. All right? This is not just some innocuous, frivolous thing it's not a phase that they're going through. This could and will have some serious consequences. 100%. Give you a couple of examples. A new report out that shows that the kid who shot Donald Trump, Crooks, used the pronouns they and them, and just like Tyler Robinson, who, have to say allegedly, shot Charlie Kirk, they were interested in furries and exploring gender identity. According to Amanda Devine, the FBI didn't tell us everything they knew about Crook. She says, among the 17 accounts uncovered by our source were the ones on YouTube, Snapchat, Venmo, Zelly, GroupMe, Discord, Google Play, Quizlet, Chess.com, and Quora. Okay. The online interactions from when Crooks was 15 to 17 gave us a better understanding of his evolution into an assassin and invite more questions about what or who reversed his ideology. The official narrative claimed that he acted alone and without a clear motive, ideology, or digital footprint. A source found reams of information that shows Crooks was not simply some unknowable lone actor. He left a digital trail of violent threats, extremist ideology, and admiration for mass violence. He spoke openly of political assassination, posted under his real name, and was even flagged by other users who mentioned law enforcement in their replies. Despite this, his account remained active for more than 5 years and was only removed the day after the shooting. Crooks went from a radical and violent right-winger, according to them, with comments like murder all Democrats on YouTube, doing a complete reversal into Trump derangement syndrome. Like alleged this is from Miranda Devine, like alleged Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson, Crook appeared to have been interested in furries and exploring gender identity. He described himself with pronouns they, them on the platform DeviantArt, which was one of his biggest online hubs for furry art and the furry community. 2 accounts linked to Crook's primary email were found at DeviantArt under usernames, and I won't even go into all of that. The account suggests he had an obsession with scantily clad cartoon characters sporting muscle-bound male bodies and female heads. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. But here's the thing. Why is this such a problem? Well, I'll tell you why. Because from 2015 to 2025, they did a study. Public incidents with 4 or more fatalities as rates per 1 million population. All right? Leading all categories were trans and non-binary. Again, public incidents with 4 or more fatalities. The trans community just absolutely leaps and bounds over everybody else. Some of these others may surprise you as well. Who comes in second? Asians. Asians come in second. African Americans come in third. Whites come in fourth. Hispanics come in fifth, and Native Americans come in last. But the most violent group out there, as far as public incidents with 4 or more fatalities, come from the trans, non-binary community. And I will hazard to guess that they probably didn't do a whole lot of looking into some of this, but I will hazard to guess that there is a great probability that going through that entire thread is going to be the whole fascination with furries. It is not an innocent little thing. It's not innocuous. It's a serious issue. So when I say, if you know anybody that's dabbling in that, no. Charlie, if I ever see a furry out in public, then I'm going to call animal control because parents do not put tags on their furry children. You're exactly right. Charlie, remember the carp from WKRP? I do remember that. Let's see. There you go. So, but again, one of the most surprising things is who is committing all of the violence. And all you got to do is go look online. Go look online at all the people that celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Majority of them identified as trans. Who's causing who's calling for all the violence out there? Yep, non-binary, trans, that community. But they've got the nerve to say that it's white men, white males that are causing all the violence? I believe it is not even close. Not even close. WRD Talk Line, 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Would love to chat with you this afternoon. Coming up at 4:06, we'll talk with Kyle Kirby. He's the chairman of the Mecklenburg County GOP about Operation Charlotte Web going on in Charlotte. And folks out there on SNAP benefits, you might have a little work to do coming up. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on the Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WORD talk line. We'll talk to Jonathan in Charlotte. Jonathan, Operation Charlotte's Web going on right now. Welcome to the program.
How's it going, Charlie? Yeah, I listen to your show, man, every day, along with Mike Gallagher and who else is it after him? What is it? Bill
Frady. Yeah, Frady.
So yeah, I listen to you guys pretty much every day. I drive a truck, deliver tires in Charlotte, and our business is in the university area. I don't know if do I need to say my name over the business on the radio or what?
You don't have to, no. I mean, if you want to, you can, but you don't have to.
Okay, it's BTS.
Okay.
Tire wheel distributor, and we deliver to a bunch of Hispanic businesses, and I've noticed that a lot of them ain't even open today. So I mean, I guess they're trying to, beat the system or what?
Well, what does that tell you? They don't want to be. They don't want to be rounded up, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to my boss earlier. He was like, "Yeah, man, our sales are down real bad because a lot of the people are not ordering." So I was like, all right, and I kind of paid attention to it, and when I left out this evening for my second route, I just happened to look around. I'm like, dang, these people ain't even open.
Well, here's the thing, though, Jonathan. It's kind of interesting to me. You said sales are down. I mean, Operation Charlotte's Web just started Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what I'm saying is for us because, we're still going to stay in business. We're a pretty big company.
Right.
I was just saying, how they're trying to beat around the bush. Like I'm right now sitting at the light at North Tryon and Sugar Creek, and there's a Compare Foods right here, and it's ran by Hispanics, and they're not even open either.
Yeah, that's interesting, Jonathan. I appreciate it. There was one grocery store. This is kind of go along with what Jonathan was saying there. It was a grocery store in Charlotte that they said they were going to start delivering groceries to illegal aliens for free. Free grocery delivery for illegal. Man, why didn't ICE think of that? I should have thought about that. You go and you get your grocery store and say, hey, are you an illegal alien? Then all you got to do is call us and we will deliver your groceries. You'll have to pay for the groceries, but the delivery will be free. And then you just show up and start arresting people. I want you to now listen to a guy named Drew Reisinger. He is the elected Buncombe County, North Carolina Register of Deeds. He talks about ICE.
Hey friends, Drew Reisinger here. Just wanting to check in. I'm seeing a lot of information coming from North Carolina officials saying that immigration raids might be starting as early as Saturday, as early as this weekend. I know there's some real tendency to just say if ICE is coming with good intentions to get criminals off the streets, we welcome them with open arms. There's a certain point where I think we as Democrat officials just need to call a spade a spade. ICE is not well-intentioned. They're here specifically to terrorize our communities. They're not going after criminals. We've seen this again and again. I think it's incredibly important that we are just clear and honest with the community at this point. Customs and Border Patrol and ICE officials are specifically coming to terrorize communities of color, and I think it's really important that we call it what it is. Let's not pretend that these guys are coming here to help us with our crime rates. Crime rates in Charlotte, we know, are on the decline. Crime rates in Asheville are on the decline. So let's be real. They're not coming to help us, and we need to protect our immigrant communities.
I have a question. Not all Democrat guys talk like that. Why do Democrat men talk in that effeminate way? Anybody got any ideas? So who are they arresting up there in Charlotte? Oh, my goodness. Well, let's introduce you to Jordan Castillo Chavez, illegal immigrant from Costa Rica. He was arrested for indecent liberties with a child, first-degree sexual exploitation of a minor, attempted statutory sexual offense with a child less than 15 years old, and solicitation of a child by a computer. He was released after authorities failed to honor the ICE detainer. Then there's Jose Oloa Martinez, a criminal illegal alien from Honduras. He was arrested for murder. He was released when authorities failed to honor the ICE detainer. Osman Armando Paz Ortiz. He was arrested for sex offenses with a child, indecent liberties with a child, and sex acts by a substitute parent/custodian. He was released when authorities failed to honor ICE detainer. Jeffrey Moises Martinez Sorto. Sexual battery, resisting an officer, fleeing, eluding arrest with a motor vehicle. Released while on ICE detainer. William Santos Roca. Carrying a concealed weapon, then arrested for DUI. Had previous arrest for hit and run, multiple DUIs. Released by authorities in North Carolina on ICE detainer. Carlos Manuel Portillo Guevara, criminal illegal alien from El Salvador, arrested for carrying a concealed weapon and the discharge of a weapon, also released. Olivan Calero Martinez. What is he guilty of? Theft, larceny, trespassing, burglary, forced entry, property damage, possession of stolen property, and drug possession. Released. And this is just a small sample of what they have done. Just a small sample. Every single one of those people, including the guy for murder, was released onto the streets of Charlotte. Now, I'm sorry, Drew Reisinger, the elected Buncombe County, North Carolina Register of Deeds. That is called making your community safe. That's what's happening up in Charlotte. And there are people out there that are posting where ICE is. They're giving. They showed up. They showed up this weekend. Now, remember, this Operation Charlotte's Web only started on Saturday. People showed up with bags of whistles, handing them out to all these people. If you see ICE, blow the whistle. If you see ICE, blow they're literally blowing the whistle on ICE. If you see ICE, blow, and and I'm just wondering, how do you get that many whistles? How did you prepare for that many whistles? Did you order them on Amazon, get next day delivery? And who was paying for all of this? Listen, this stuff is organized. It is absolutely all of this resistance to ICE. And by the way, anybody that resists federal law enforcement, you are committing a felony. You are committing a felony. And you should go to jail. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're an elected official or not. You should go to jail. Human trafficking in Charlotte has exploded over the past couple of years. Exploded, increased 76%. They're trying to get the bad guys off the street. When we get back, we'll talk to the chair of the Mecklenburg County GOP, Kyle Kirby. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of non-stop breaking news and stimulating talk jumpstarts every hour on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
sunny skies here this afternoon.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
America is back.
Yeah, and we are back. Glad to have you along with us on this Monday afternoon. A transgender just tried to carry out an attack on federal agents in Charlotte. Border Commander Greg Bavino said this individual assaulted federal officers at a gas station, then engaged officers in a high-speed pursuit. Folks, we're seeing this all over Charlotte. Joining us right now is Kyle Kirby. He is the chairman of the Mecklenburg County GOP. Kyle, welcome to the program. Hope you're doing well.
Charlie, thank you for having me with you this afternoon.
What are you guys seeing up there in Charlotte? I mean, we're seeing all these videos from Freedom News TV, all of these things that are coming in all over the media. I mean, is this what you guys are actually witnessing up there in the Queen City?
No, not at all. You're seeing Border Patrol out in the streets. They're out and about, but they're treating people with courtesy and respect. And those people, those few instances that you see the news that is sensationalizing it, where the guy had the window broken out of his car, it's all because of failure to comply with reasonable requests of the officers. It's literally most times when we have instances, it's because of the individual that's being approached by the officer is not willing to comply with their reasonable requests. And that's what you're seeing in so many of these instances. Was not aware of the transgender individual that I just heard about on your radio station. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Wow.
Yeah, just happened just a couple of moments ago. But I mean, we're seeing people handing out whistles. They're patrolling to alert people on ICE. A lot of this is being organized by Action NC, which is a nonprofit group of there. I mean, does that represent the average Charlotte resident?
No, it does not represent the average Charlottean. And what you're seeing is a lot of outside interest and a lot of outside money coming here as agitators. Perfect example is the whistles and the phone numbers and all that stuff. And then also our local media has a lot of a role to play in the agitation and the fear, because since Friday, they have been totally sensationalizing the Border Patrol's presence.
Right.
They've been making them out to be, absolute monsters, and that's just simply not the case. People that are here legally, they have nothing to fear. President Trump ran on a platform to secure our borders, and because of Joe Biden, because of 20 million people coming into this country illegally, every single state is now a border state. And in order for us to fulfill on the obligations that President Trump gave to the American people to make this country both sovereign and safe again, we have to send Border Patrol into our large cities. And Charlotte, whether we like it or not, it's in our backyard. It's the 14th largest city in the entire country,
Yep.
and it has the 6th largest immigration court in the entire country.
You guys have a the Buncombe County, North Carolina Register of Deeds, Drew Reisinger. He said, "Oh, ICE is here. ICE is here to cause trouble. They're here to disrupt the community." I just read a long list of violent criminals that have already been rounded up by ICE. Do the vast majority of the people in Charlotte think that their community is safer now than it was on Friday?
Well, I certainly hope so, because the local leadership has not done much of anything to
Right.
make sure that we have safer streets in Charlotte. And when you have failed leadership on a city and a council, on a city and a county level, it's going to take people like the Border Patrol and federal agencies to step in here and ensure the safety of the average Charlottean walking up and down the street. Charlie, Irina Zaruska was murdered this summer on the Charlotte Light Rail line.
Yeah.
And since her murder in August, violent crime in the city of Charlotte, the inner city of Charlotte, inside of the 277 Belt Loop, has gone up nearly 200%.
Wow.
We have to do, we have to do something in order to rein this back in. I don't think our elected leaders here in Charlotte, the mayor, the district attorney, the sheriff, are doing their job to the average Charlottean to make sure that it's safe to go out at night. And if they have a failure on that level, then it's up for the federal government to step in and have to do something to protect us. And I'm thankful, and many others are thankful, that they're here, including people who who were not born in this country, that immigrated to this country legally. Because you know what happens when people sidestep the legal immigration process? It cheapens the experience of those people that went through the legal immigration process and makes them question, if I had to go through the immigration process as set up by federal law, why didn't these other people have to do it? And it's not fair to those people that went through the process fairly to have people walking up and down our streets committing crimes that are not even supposed to be here in the first place.
You guys have one Republican on Charlotte City Council in Mr. Driggs. By the way, we're talking with the chairman of the Mecklenburg County GOP, Kyle Kirby. What role, has Mayor Vi Lyles made a statement about ICE in Charlotte?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Both Mayor Lyles and the county commission chair, as well as the Charlotte Mecklenburg schools, have all three made a joint statement, which basically said, we're going to take the side of the illegal immigrants and resist ICE.
Unbelievable.
That's what they like to do. They like to take the side of the perpetrator rather than the victims. Perfect example. When Irina Zaruska was violently murdered on Charlotte Light Rail, which put Charlotte in the public eye, both nationally and internationally, for the crime that's going on here, our mayor did not step up and say, we're going to increase policing. She stepped up and said, we're never going to arrest ourselves or arrest our way out of violent crime in Charlotte. So what they like to do is give a free pass to these people that commit these crimes and take the side of the offender. And once again, we have a perfect example with the joint statement between Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, and Charlotte Mecklenburg schools.
Unbelievable. Kyle Kirby, chairman of the Mecklenburg County GOP. Thank you so much for talking with us this afternoon. We'll speak again soon.
Charlie, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Take care. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When he's not mowing his yard, he's mowing down liberal nonsense. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to Ron in Mountain Rest. How you doing, Ron?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, Charlie?
I'm good. What's up, man?
Hey, I just had a thought. You know, nothing affects anybody more than getting in their pocketbook.
Yeah.
And you got all this crime going on, and you got Trump trying to do something about it. You got all these highly motivated individuals that's willing to step up and do their job. And then the criminals get let loose. And then criminals do what criminals do.
Yeah.
They go out and commit another crime. So when they go out and commit another crime against someone, why don't we have an organization that puts them together and then not just sues the criminal, but every organization that helped them, because they're complicit.
I
Whether
agree.
it be a mayor or a district attorney or even, I don't care if it's a local law enforcement office, drag all their butts into court, because at the end of the day, we got a lot of attorneys that love to make money, and they do, like, you know, when you have an accident and you have a passenger that gets hurt, the attorney sues everybody, the driver, the other person in the accident, everything. Just sue everybody.
I agree.
And then when you get in their pocketbook, they'll quit supporting some of this crap.
You know, and there should be legal action that you could take if you are a judge and you release somebody that is on ICE detainer. You should have the book thrown at you. That should absolutely be the law. I agree, Ron. And sue them if they commit another crime. I agree, Ron. Gerald is in Cowpens. Gerald, how you doing?
Brother Charlie, you could take the brain of a Democrat and put it in a hummingbird's head, and it would fly backwards and suck a mule's hind end for a sunflower.
You're exactly right, Gerald. You are exactly right. Well, we all know that the vast majority of these illegal aliens, and a great deal of the legal ones as well, are on SNAP benefits. Now, recently, SNAP benefits were first and foremost in the news because of the government shutdown, and we learned a lot about SNAP benefits, but not as much as we think we knew. And now, Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins is announcing a really good idea. Let's take a listen to what she says.
On day one, when I was sworn in, which was earlier this year in February, the very first thing I did was send letters to every single state in America and said, never before has the federal government asked for the data, but it is a new day. President Trump is the president. We know there's a lot of fraud. We need to help partner with you all to figure out how to make sure that this money and these benefits go to those who truly need it and not rife with fraud and corruption. 29 states, mostly the red states, responded with their data sets February, March, April. So the numbers that you're talking through, those are numbers that we have been collecting and analyzing since early summer, late spring. The fact that this spotlight shined on SNAP has allowed us to talk about it. But here's the most unbelievable news I have really just over the last few days, that 5,000 dead people, that was just 1 month. The number is closer to 186,000 deceased men and women and children in this country are receiving a check. Now, that is what we're really going to start clamping down on. 500,000 are getting 2. But here's the really stunning thing. This is just data from those 29 mostly red states. Can you imagine when we get our hands on the blue state data, what we're going to find? It's going to give us a platform and a trajectory to fundamentally rebuild this program, have everyone reapply for their benefit, make sure that everyone that's taking a taxpayer-funded benefit through SNAP or food stamps, that they literally are vulnerable and they can't survive without it. And that's the next step here.
Oh, Charlie, we can't do that. That's racist. Oh, we can't have these people reapply for SNAP. They've already done it. They don't even know they did it. They just did it. Every single person, according to Brooke Rollins, and let me say this with a bit of a caveat, every single person until a federal judge or a circuit court judge steps in, is going to have to reapply for SNAP benefits, every single one. I think that is fantastic. When you've got 186,000, just that we know of, dead people on the SNAP benefits rolls, and you have 500,000 people double dipping, so they'd be like, you put down your name, you get SNAP benefits, you fill out another application, but this time you use your middle name, so it's just different enough. Now you get more SNAP benefits. I think it's a great idea. That's what they need to do. If we got rid of the waste, fraud, and corruption that is going on in the SNAP program, I'll hazard to say, you could probably cut it by a quarter. Especially with all of these people out there that are able-bodied, they could go get a job. But SNAP has become a generational lifestyle. And how many people, I played the clips right here on the program. How many people out there talking about how you can't take, what did that one lady say? My SNAP benefits give me my independence because I don't have to work. Well, good gracious, lady, I would love that kind of independence. I saw a, let me see if I can find this real quick. It was a graphic that showed the SNAP benefits that you can get and what the income level was. We're talking about people on $60,000 a year. $60,000. Gross monthly income, $7,059. You can get SNAP benefits. And many of these people are abusing the system. So if you are a household and you make $1,696 a month, you get $298 a month. If you are a four-person household making $3,483, you get $1,000 a month. And it goes up exponentially from there. They even include people with 10 family households, 10 family members in that household. You get $2,220. That's unbelievable. So, yeah, Brooke Rollins, good idea. Good idea. So recently we've been seeing a lot of Marxists being elected to office, and there's some reasons for that. I'll tell you about them next. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Streaming stimulating talk and breaking news on your phone 24/7 on the Odyssey app. You're on the drive with the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
You have noticed over the past, I don't know, couple of months, mainly the last month, especially with Zohran Mamdani being elected mayor of New York, which, by the way, when he takes over on January 1, it is going to be Katie bar the door for New York. You see, these people think they're getting something, but that's not what they're getting. We've already found out that Zohran Mamdani, all of these promises that he made, all of the, we're going to have free buses and we're going to have free this and we're going to have free that. And Kathy Hochul's up there in Albany going, yeah, no, you can't do that. No, Mamdani, you cannot tax white neighborhoods more than you do neighborhoods of color, whatever they are. That's discriminatory. Period. So all of these grand promises that were made by these radicals, they're not going to come to fruition. Now, Mamdani says that he is a Democrat socialist. And if you're wondering what that is, let me explain it to you. The ultimate goal of the Democrat socialist is socialism. That's what they want. But they want to use the democratic method. They want to use votes to vote in socialism. They're not talking about socialism by revolt or revolution. They're not talking about bringing in socialism like that. They're talking about using the ballot box to bring in socialism. That is the only difference, if there really is one, between a socialist and a Democrat socialist. I love to see these kids. I don't love it. That's just an expression. But when these kids walk around in their Che Guevara shirts, I always wanted to go up to one of these kids and say, hey, did you know that Che Guevara executed more young men under the age of 12 than any other dictator in history, revolutionary in history? Did you know that? Did you know he did that? More young men under the age of 12. He holds the record. He stands alone in that one. But you see, they've been filled with all of this ideology. J.D. Rucker over at the Discern Report, he writes an article about why these people are getting elected more recently. Number one, broken Democrats indoctrinated into believing that the left has not gone far enough. We're seeing that with Mamdani. We're seeing that with AOC. We're seeing that with Bernie Sanders. We're seeing that with Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. You name it, they're out there. Even Gavin Newsom. We have not gone far enough to the left. So we had 4 years of failed progressive agenda. But instead of rejecting that, the Democrats are going, well, the only reason it failed is because we didn't go far enough to the left. We need to go more. Democrat Socialists of America, they've been capitalizing on this. Let's do it more. Recruiting from the ranks of the disaffected. They whispered that if only we had real Marxism, unfettered by capitalist remnants, utopia would follow. See, that's always what they promise, utopia. It's seductive. It's a seductive lie for those that are hurting, but it ignores history's lessons from Venezuela to the Soviet Union. As long as Democrats remain broken and bitter, Marxists will exploit that vulnerability and gain electability. Number two, Trump derangement syndrome. Few phenomena in modern politics rival the intensity of Trump derangement syndrome. For nearly a decade, the mere mention of Donald Trump has sent Democrats into a frenzy. Here's psychotherapist Jonathan Alpert.
First of all, identify it for us. You're in a session and you pick up on what?
Well, Harris, it doesn't take long for me to pick up on this. People are obsessed with Trump. They're fixated. They're hyper-fixated on Trump. And they talk about some of the features of this disorder. They can't sleep. They feel traumatized by Mr. Trump. They feel restless. I had one patient who said she couldn't enjoy a vacation because anytime she saw Trump in the news or on her device, she felt triggered. So this is a profound pathology, and I would even go so far as to call it the defining pathology of our time.
And it is. Trump derangement syndrome is real, and psychotherapists are out there picking up on it. The emotional recoil, going back to J.D. Rucker, this emotional recoil isn't about policy, it's about spite. As long as TDS persists, it will continue to make Marxists not just tolerable, but preferable to a segment of the electorate desperate to signal their anti-Trump virtue. They would rather vote for a radical, Marxist, leftist, than ever even consider voting for Donald Trump. But the biggest reason for all of these Marxists to start gaining in some of these elections is ignorance. That's just it. It's ignorance. It is a lack of historical and economic literacy. Schools and universities dominated by progressive curricula rarely teach the horrors of Marxist regimes, the famines, the purges, the economic collapses that claim millions of lives. Instead, students are fed sanitized versions of Marxism, emphasizing equality while ignoring the inevitable authoritarianism. Add in the influence of TikTok influencers and celebrity endorsements, and you have a generation voting from stupidity and sentiment rather than informed analysis. This ignorance isn't accidental. It is cultivated. Marxists thrive on it, knowing that once voters buy into the fantasy, they're hooked. But reality bites. Marxist utopias always devolve into dystopias because they define human nature and basic economics. Yet as long as ignorance prevails, fueled by failing education systems and algorithmic echo chambers, Marxists will continue to seduce the uninformed into electoral viability. The rise of the electable Marxist isn't inevitable, but combating it requires vigilance. We must educate, expose, and engage, highlight the failures of Marxism whenever they occur, challenge TDS with facts about Trump's successes, and most importantly, foster a culture of critical thinking to combat ignorance. The first thing we need to do is stop calling it socialism, the word that angers patriots and conservatives, but in the minds of today's youths, it's a positive. Instead of running from the term, the left has embraced it, but the policies that they're proposing are truly Marxist in nature. They hide behind the equity of socialism, so they're not called out for the middle-class warfare and the property-destroying tenets of true Marxism. So, as much as I can, I'm going to try to stop using the word socialist. And I'm going to actively remind myself to use the word Marxist, because that's what they are. Check out J.D. Rucker's article over there at Discern Report. It's certainly good reading. When we get back, what is going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene? She's back on CNN. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
There's some weird things going on over on the conservative side. I mean, really strange things. You got Tucker Carlson, you got Candace Owens, you got all of these people. You got just somebody asked me the other day, "Hey Charlie, what do you think about what's going on with Candace Owens?" I was like, I don't even pay attention. I really, really don't. I really and truly don't. I don't pay attention to her. I don't pay attention to Tucker anymore. I don't pay attention to Ben Shapiro. Never paid attention to him. Didn't like him from the beginning. So, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing what's going on. And now we get Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I've always found that I found it interesting that when Republicans run to CNN, that's what really gets me. I mean, an occasional appearance. Okay, you understand that. They're a major news network, cable. But to be almost a regular, that's when I really start to worry. Because if you are a regular on CNN, then they consider you an ally. Pure and simple. They consider you an ally. And CNN is really considering Marjorie Taylor Greene an ally these days. Even over on The View, they fawned all over Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why? Because she dared to say, for some reason, she decided she didn't like Trump's policies. How about that? For some reason. And it had to do a lot, and you might want to go back and look at this. It had to do with the mass deportations. All of a sudden, Marjorie Taylor Greene was against mass deportations. And a lot of people speculated that the reason was because it hurt her ex-husband's business, construction business over in Georgia. Interesting. Now she's out there talking about the economy. Well, here's the thing, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I love it, and I always use this example. You ever hear somebody say, "Man, I am stuck in traffic"? No, you're not stuck in traffic. You are traffic. If you're out on Woodruff Road, it's not the traffic that's keeping you. You are the traffic. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is a member of Congress. And she's talking about the economy. Tariffs, study after study after study have shown that tariffs have actually helped reduce inflation. The tariffs have actually brought prices down, and they help the average American business. But somebody, somewhere has gotten to Marjorie Taylor Greene and put a bunch of this stuff in her head, and a lot of people are pointing the fingers at the fact that she's been hanging around a lot with Kevin McCarthy. That could be where it's coming from. Charlie, I'm thinking about giving Marjorie Taylor Greene a roll of Reynolds wrap for a tinfoil hat. Well, there you go. So, but here's the thing. So she goes on CNN. Now, remember Marjorie Taylor Greene? She used to be the bulldog. Oh, she was the bulldog. She was that Georgia bulldog. Marjorie Taylor Greene went on CNN. I want you to listen to this exchange with Dana Bash.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences.
Yeah. Really?
And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
Really, we have a lot. So what you're saying is, and let me tell you something, Marjorie Taylor Greene, just a little piece of advice. When you put down the knives, you're still in a knife fight. You're just unarmed. Period. And we've got a lot more in common than we do. A lot more in common. Tell me what I have in common with a Democrat. Tell me. Is it the abortion issue? No, we've got nothing in common. Is it the economy? Nope, got nothing in common because they're Marxist. Is it immigration? Nope, got nothing in common with those people. But yet, Marjorie Taylor Greene goes running to CNN every single chance she gets. And now she's talking about, this is, you know what this is called? It's called the language of the primary. This is let me rephrase that. It's the language of the general election. You see, in the primary, it's all about bringing everybody together and talking in nice, flowery language. And then once you win the primary, then you go after the Democrats, or the Democrats go after Republicans, and then the real teeth come out. Somebody has put it in this woman's head that she could be president of the United States one day. I fully believe that. And I think that's what she's doing. She is, instead of going in, and remember, she used to be the MAGA bulldog. Remember when she was talking about Laken Riley, say her name. You think she would do that today? No. So whatever's happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene, she needs to go away. Absolutely. Charlie, Marjorie Taylor Greene has surrendered to the swamp. Charlie, Marjorie Taylor Greene has morphed into Liz Cheney. Charlie put down the knives in politics. The only one that should put down their knives in politics is to pick up a flamethrower. You're right about that. So whatever's going on with her, I hope it's exposed. I really do. But we've seen this before. Who have we seen this with? We saw it with Nikki Haley. Well, we saw it with Liz Cheney. We saw it with Nikki Haley. They even saw it with Nancy Mace. So joining the Susan Collinses and the Lisa Murkowskis out there, and certainly the Liz Cheneys, we've got Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she's going to be losing a lot of support in the Republican Party. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. Speaking of somebody that's running for president, Big Mike. We'll tell you about it. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is Mark Levin. Join me tonight at 7 following Charlie James for the Mark Levin Show, a News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to Lauren in Greenville. Lauren, welcome.
Hey, Charlie, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. What's up, man?
Good. Hey, a couple of weeks ago, saw a thing on the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing where they did a poll on her base, and they said her base was down about 40%.
Yeah, Dave, because she's not looking good in the primaries.
Right. I'm just wondering if she's trying to massage the people that are on the fence or whatever that she's kind of ticked off to try to win them back over.
I think she's doing it the wrong way.
Well, I don't think she's going for the MAGA support. I think she's going the other side.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't think it's a good. I don't think.
Oh no,
it is a good strategy for her.
But when that report came out, you could see her kind of leaning the other way, and that's when she started causing all the issues.
Yeah, you're right about that. All right, Lauren, I appreciate it. This is Scott Jennings over on CNN talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I do think it started with that political engagement. When they sent her that poll, that's when you start to see everything change. She opposed the president on his Middle East policy, attacking the Houthi rebels, attacking Iran. She's opposed the president on deportations this summer. So she has sort of become a policy opponent of the president, but I think it really all started with that political engagement, and now she's one of his most frequent critics on some of what I would argue has been his biggest successes this year. And if you want to count yourself as an ally of the President of the United States, it's not great to go out and run out to The View and other places and crap on him 24 hours a day. I mean, that's essentially what she's become. It's a well-worn path. A lot of other Republicans who've turned on the president have done that too.
But there's
yeah, none successfully. Let's go to James in Anderson. James, how you doing?
How you doing, Charlie? Long time listener, first time caller.
Well, then you gonna get the bell, man. There you go. What's up?
Yeah, so before the break, you played that clip of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Saying let's look at what we've got in common, and you said tell you one thing you've got in common with Democrats. Well, I know one thing you've got in common with Democrats.
All right.
And they absolutely hate it. You've got the same president.
You're right about that. They can't stand that.
Hey,
they can't
love the
stand
show,
it.
Charlie.
I appreciate it, pal. Thank you very much. So Marjorie Taylor Greene's out there trying to save her own skin. I don't think she's doing it the right way. A lot of people are assuming she's going to run for president. But I'm pretty sure I know who's actually thinking about running for president, and that is Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama been out everywhere. She's got a book out called The Look. The Look. So she's going on all these shows, and all she's doing is complaining. This is a woman that was the First Lady of the United States. And all she can talk about is how oppressed she is. She was in the White House, and she talks about and she uses this phrase intentionally, the white hot glare. The white hot glare. I guess that's the glare from all the white people. But she's oppressed. She even had to pay for her own food. Every presidential family has to pay for their own food. It's just a thing. She's very upset about that. So she was on some podcast over the weekend. I want you to listen to what she said. This is, I'll let your brain melt here for a minute.
Worry about it. Let me explain something to white people.
Please explain something to white people, Big Mike.
Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all.
Us?
It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time.
Oh.
Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair. Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't.
I don't even understand that. I really don't. Now, I did a video, it was this weekend. I did a video, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos when I take the dogs out for a walk, and I talked about this. And by the way, if you're not following me on these social media sites, you certainly need to do that. I'm over on X, Twitter, at Charlie on Air. I'm also same handle over on TikTok and Instagram. So you guys follow me on all of those platforms at Charlie on Air. This is a woman that would rather go complain than do anything else. How many magazine covers and magazine spreads had Michelle Obama in them? How many appearances did she make? At award shows, at this banquet, at that banquet, at everywhere. I mean, everywhere a person could go, Michelle Obama went. She had every opportunity to say, you know what? I'm not straightening my hair anymore. I'm just going to let it grow natural. She had every opportunity. And you know what would have happened if she had done that? Oh, it would have been a fashion revolution, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, the African-American female hair is free. She could have done that at any time. And by the way, I've never heard a single white person say something about an African-American's hair. Not in almost 62 years have I heard anybody say that. Sorry, Michelle Obama, that's something that we just don't sit around talking about. But you see, here's the thing. She's got to be oppressed. She has to be oppressed. Mark Manson wrote a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And he explains this with the bell curve. So the whole point of that chapter in the book was that most people are, by definition, average at most things. Those people are at the top of the bell curve. You're average. Once you start getting exceptional at something, then you start moving to the right and down, sloping down in the bell curve until you get the best of the best, right? But most people fall in that average category. However, society sees average as a negative. They don't like average. Our current culture, social media, always focuses on those extreme outliers. So in those extreme outliers, you have two different types of people. You have those that strive to excel and those that do not strive to excel. Those people are at the bottom left of the bell curve, just on the upslope. Why? Because they don't want to put in the time and the effort to at least be average. That's too much work, and they don't want to be average. So instead of being average, in order to call attention to themselves, they become oppressed. Michelle Obama was nothing more than an average first lady. Average, by any stretch of the imagination. Can you tell me one great thing other than planting a garden at the White House that Michelle Obama did? No, not a thing. She was average. So in order to break out of that average mold, she could try to excel, but she doesn't have the talent. So now she's got to be oppressed. And that is how she's getting her attention. And people are more than willing to give it to her. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When the left spins, Charlie sets it straight. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Write your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome back to the program. Let's go to Chris in Charlotte. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing all right, brother. How are you today?
I'm great. What's up, man?
Well, I was going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene and, Big Mike there. So,
Yeah.
First of all, Charlie, girls don't do that stuff for guys or for other people. What we do to make ourselves look pretty, it's for us. You ask any woman, regardless of the color of tone of their skin,
Yeah.
like, why do they do these beautification things? Why are you doing it for men? Why are you doing it for this?
Yeah, I thought we were supposed to be beyond that. Oh, doggone it, Chris. Well, there you are. He's back. Yeah, what's up, man?
Oh, yeah.
No,
They
you're
don't- they
you're
don't
absolutely
do-
right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, they don't do the beautification thing for everybody else. They do it for themselves. It's their own self-vanity. And you ask any woman on social media, they'll tell you the exact same. I don't do it for you. I do it for me. I've seen that comment multiple times from multiple women of all walks of life.
And we know that's a load of hooey, right? They like the attention that comes with it.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And
Yeah.
as far as Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm going to have to get on to you, though, this one there, Charlie. As a
All right.
Bulldogs fan, we can't call her a Georgia Bulldog anymore, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. We're gonna rip that away. And by the way, how did they play against Texas Saturday night?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
What a great game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of the press and everything else got, with the whole Gamecocks and the whole.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was bad. Chris,
Yeah.
you're breaking up here, man, but I appreciate your phone call. Thank you. Yeah, that was a great Georgia game. And Carolina Gamecocks, holy mackerel. Let's go to Lucas in Piedmont. Lucas, welcome.
Hey, Charlie. How's it going this Monday morning?
Good.
I guess afternoon.
Yeah, what's up?
So I wanted to chime in on, the Michelle Obama comments before going into the bigger picture of Marjorie Taylor Greene. One, I mean, just from her comments that you played, when has anybody ever told any African-American woman in public what they're supposed to do with their hair?
I don't remember.
Where is this all originating from?
Where
It
is it?
sounds like it's just a scapegoat that they wanted to latch onto, and she wants to complain about something. This is coming from the woman who, like you said, was on every cover of every magazine when
Yeah.
she was given the opportunity, or when she was on a TV show because they invited her, but she was the one that discouraged her kids from going on TV shows like Disney Channel because she didn't want to expose them to that life.
Right.
But now she's complaining. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I agree. Everything she's done since she's left is a complaint.
Yeah.
But to the bigger picture of Marjorie Taylor Greene,
All right.
I have not been a big fan of hers or Lauren Boebert's. The same as I've never been with the Squad because, they're just two radical sides of the same coin. But the funny thing about the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing is as soon as she flipped on Trump for one reason, before, she was ridiculed and talked about and demeaned by every talk show there was. But, of course, as soon as she flipped, she got a very warm welcome on The View.
Oh, yeah.
And wasn't it the same thing with Michael Cohen early on in the Trump days when, he was the big ally and the lawyer, and they discredited him and said that he should be disbarred. But as soon as he flipped, we need to invite him on the shows and tell us about everything that was going on behind the scenes and how much he maligned you and
Right.
used you. And it's like, if you don't lockstep with them, you're their worst enemy. But as soon as you flip on one thing, you're their best friend. You're welcome into their social circles just because they want to dig on dirt.
That's exactly. And you can even go back to remember Omarosa from the first Trump administration when she flipped on Donald Trump. Yeah, seems to be a pattern, and it never works out. At DePaul University in Chicago, DePaul University, there was an issue over the weekend with some Muslim students. And these Muslim students at DePaul University in Chicago, they chose to occupy the campus library to conduct their prayers. despite the university designating multiple prayer rooms and a mosque right next door. So why did these students, these Muslim students at DePaul University, take over the library, which is supposed to be for everybody? Why did they do that? Why did they choose that place to conduct their prayers? Well, there's a young lady over on Instagram that I follow. I think her name is Goldie Gamari. Goldie Gamari. She is from Iran, and she explains it. Here we go.
Iranian here with another pro tip for anyone who's not from the Middle East. No one in the Middle East actually blocks intersections to pray in the streets and yell Allahu Akbar. The reason that they do it in your country is because they're trying to assert their religious dominance over you and claim your country and turn it into Sharia law. Now you know.
Now you know. That's what's going on at DePaul University, and DePaul University refused to do anything about it. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, this is Tara. Start your day with common sense information and opinion with me on The Tara Show tomorrow morning, starting at 6. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's head over to Livonia, Georgia, and talk to Eric. Eric, what's going on, man?
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, bud.
I love your show.
Thank you, sir.
I always listen to you in the car on the radio or on home on the Odyssey app, which I'm doing now. But
All
either
right.
way, I can't see any video. But when you played that clip of Michelle Obama, I swear it sounded just like Hillary Clinton giving a speech in Atlanta.
You're right. I'm no ways tired. Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's amazing.
One thing I want to ask you, if you really think Michelle is going to make a run, but she's saying that America's not ready for a female president, is she going to run as Michael Robinson first and then go for a second term?
She might.
Michelle?
She might. It could happen. But she's just doing that. She's just y'all aren't ready. Oh, y'all aren't ready for me. Oh, y'all aren't ready for me. So then she's going to get all the people over on the left going, "We are ready. We are ready." And that's going to be the
we're
slogan.
Not ready for any has-beens.
That's going to be the slogan, Eric. That's going to be the slogan. We are ready. You're going to see it at the Democrat National Convention. We are ready for a black woman, quote unquote, to be president of the United States. That please do not think this is not going to happen. Let's go to Jack in Gastonia. Jack, welcome.
Hey, Charlie. How are you today?
I'm good, bud. What's going on?
Hanging in there, man.
All right.
This story with the Muslims taking over the library at the college.
Yeah.
All they're doing is measuring America's ability to tolerate their views and make room for them.
Yep.
That's how they started in England, and then they take over the streets in London.
Oh, absolutely. You see, when Muslims are in the minority, they always scream about minority rights. But when Muslims are in the majority, there are no minority rights.
Yeah,
and that's coming. That's coming to England. I appreciate it. Let's go to Bonnie in Greenville. Bonnie, welcome.
Hey there. I really feel sorry for the oppressed Michelle Obama.
I
She's
know.
got a huge house in the Hamptons and another one in Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's for two silly people. She doesn't know what oppressed is all about.
No, she does not. But she's going to play the role. She's going to play the role instead
she'll
of.
do it so well.
Yeah.
And then she'll whine because her marriage is falling apart.
It was you guys in the media that did it. I appreciate it, Bonnie. You're exactly right. Yeah, that's all it is. You got it. If you don't have any talent, then you got to be oppressed. Look at Shedeur Sanders over the weekend. We'll talk a little NFL football. I don't keep up with NFL, but I saw these headlines. So Shedeur Sanders plays for the Cleveland Browns. He is a primetime Sanders' son, Coach Sanders. Coach Prime, as he likes to be called, at Colorado. So he gets drafted 5th round by the NFL. All right, everybody, he's 5th round draft pick. So he goes to the Cleveland Browns. Well, the Cleveland Browns quarterback suffers a concussion during the game. So they put in Shedeur Sanders. He performs miserably, absolutely horribly. And he knows it. He sat on the sidelines all by himself. And now everybody's talking about how oppressed he is. Multi-million-dollar contract with the NFL. Guy's got money coming, has had money coming out of his ears since his NIL contract back with Colorado. Been making money hand over fist. But now that he's been exposed as not being good, all these people are coming out and talking about how oppressed he is. Oh, give me a break. Give me a break. Oppression is the language of the mediocre. Let me say that again. Oppression is the language of the mediocre. Always has been, always will be. Well, over in Anderson, we've been hearing a lot about these people these judges going easy on criminals. And it's happening all over the state of South Carolina. It's even happening here in the upstate. And I want you to listen to this. There is a guy, well, I'll read you the story. A teacher at Star Elementary School has pleaded guilty to harassment. This happened on Wednesday in connection to stalking an 11-year-old student. 11. Dylan Robert Dukes, 27, wrote over 60 love letters, gave cards, gift cards, ornaments, pictures, and unwanted hugs to an 11-year-old girl, which made her feel uncomfortable, according to the arrest report. This guy also joined her church after realizing she would no longer be a student at the school. So detectives surveyed Duke's classroom. They found many pictures of her in his desk. They weren't sexual in nature. But Duke was charged with stalking and initially issued a $50,000 surety bond while being told not to have any contact with her or her family if released. At a plea hearing on Wednesday, Dukes pleaded guilty to first-degree harassment and was sentenced to 3 years incarceration, suspended to 5 years probation. For harassing an 11-year-old child, he gets a suspended sentence. Oh, yeah, he's on probation. But good gracious, when are we going to start protecting kids? When are we going to start protecting these children? A mentally stable grown man does not pour out his affections to an 11-year-old child, especially if that child is a student. Oh, never, in any circumstances. It should never happen. Period. And when it does, these people, they need to be dealt with by our judicial system. And I believe that, once again, our judicial system has failed here in South Carolina. What, man, y'all, you criminals better be glad I'm not a judge. Because you would be doing 3 years in prison if you get out there and harass an 11-year-old girl. I would go through a gavel a month. Just guilty. Bam. Go to jail. No, go to jail. Can I have probation? No, you're going to jail. Let some of those guys in jail stalk you for a little while, see how you feel about it. We'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on The Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
next on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Operation Charlotte Web is going on in Charlotte as they are rounding up illegal aliens, criminal illegal aliens. Earlier in the program, we talked to Kyle Kirby. He is the chairman of the Mecklenburg County GOP, and they just issued this statement saying this Saturday, federal law enforcement officers have bravely taken actions to apprehend illegals from the streets of North Carolina's largest city. As these actions have unfolded, the response from the radical Democrat Socialist of Charlotte has been reprehensible. The wreckage Joe Biden and Kamala Harris inflicted on our country with their open southern borders comes into full view when these operations arrest 130 individuals as of Monday, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Nearly 1,400 immigration detainers across North Carolina have not been honored, releasing criminal illegal aliens into neighborhoods and free to roam the streets. This problem was enabled under former Governor Roy Cooper, who on 3 separate occasions vetoed legislation to require local law enforcement to cooperate with ICE. In a city that's averaged over 100 homicides per year in the past 5 years, enforcement of the law is long overdue. And they're exactly right. Even the Charlotte Mecklenburg Fraternal Order of Police agree with that statement. This is Harrison Faulkner over there on Fox News.
Human trafficking hotline, and it shows the problem is growing in areas that have Democrat leadership, particularly Charlotte, North Carolina. The head of nonprofits that combat human trafficking in Charlotte, one of them spoke to Fox Digital.
Really is kind of like a perfect storm. There are a lot of variables. I mean, one of the things that we have to know is that trafficking happens everywhere. And so it happens in every city and every town, whether you're rural, whether you're city, it really doesn't matter. But for Charlotte, one of the things is that we have a lot of factors that attract a demand. Things like international airports, all of our interstates, you can get to California, you can get to New York, you can get to Florida. We have major sports teams. All of those things are drawing people who are coming and have disposable income. They're having a good time. We also are the second largest banking industry, second only to New York. And so you've got people coming in for business and then leaving.
Yeah. And that's what they're trying to do in Charlotte. They're trying to clean up the streets, just like they tried to do in D.C., in Chicago, everywhere. Everywhere that ICE has gone, they're getting criminal illegal aliens off the streets. This is Juan Arias. Juan Arias is a Colombian-born former illegal immigrant, and now he's a city councilman in Charlotte, North Carolina. By the way, I reached out to the only Republican on the Charlotte, North Carolina City Council. He has not gotten back to me yet. Hopefully, I'll have him on the show. I want you to listen to what Colombian-born former illegal alien Juan Arias said.
We're not criminals. This is not who we are. It is devastating. It is infuriating. But if anything, it is heartbreaking. These are humans.
Okay. So notice I said former illegal alien, Juan Arias. How did he become an American citizen? We'll let him tell you.
I fell in love in high school with my best friend, and we got married at the age of 18. And that is how I got my citizenship. And then we both realized that I was, as we were married and going through our growing pains, we both realized that I was a gay man and she was a lesbian woman. And so we tackled that on our own. It was heartbreaking, but at the end of the day, we still love each other. We're still best friends. I'm actually going to be in her wedding next year, so I'm very excited.
Okay. So now we found out how Juan Arias, Charlotte City Councilman, became an American citizen. It was a marriage of convenience, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the Speaker of the House of the Sovereign State of Jamestown, the one and only J.R. in Westminster. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, you keep me in stitches, man. You can't make this stuff up, Charlie.
No, not at all.
Oh, what? I mean, are we in this? This is like a combination Twilight Zone, Alice in Wonderland. I mean, what is going on here, man? But ultimately, there was a book written quite a few years ago. A gentleman by the name of Rick Shankman wrote a book called "Just How Stupid Are We?"
Yeah,
and so these people that get elected, they are what they are. They, the mask has come off. We know who they are, what they are. But the message is to the individuals that go to the polls and the voting booths and pull the levers and submit the ballots. People need to look in the mirror, examine themselves, examine their values and their principles, assess or reassess, and you gauge a potential candidate by your values, not by whatever slick talking rhetoric they spew out.
Yeah.
And information. You say it all the time. Information is so accessible to all of us, and of course, the Charlie James listeners are some of the brightest people on the planet. But you can find out anything about anybody and access the information and make a informed, educated decision. And in some cases, you won't end up with people like this, making decisions for you, Charlie, and taking your towns and your councils and your states straight to hell, So.
But that's it. I mean, when we talk about this, JR, I mean, when I say every single election is important, this is what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you look at the voter turnout on a city council race, low. That's how they get in. That's how they get in. So it's pretty amazing. Always a pleasure, buddy. Thank you very much. Want to hit, because somebody asked me a question over on the text line. He said, Charlie, why aren't they going after the illegals' employers? Oh, I'm glad you asked that question, because here we go.
At least over the first couple of days. And acting ICE Director Todd Lyons said it's not going to stop just at apprehending criminal illegal aliens. Listen to what he said.
We're going to focus on the worst of the worst, but we're also going to make sure if you're here in the country legally, we're going to get you out. And to the employers who employ and attract a lot of these illegal aliens that come in and steal American jobs, we're going to focus on those American companies as well.
So they are looking at the employers as well. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When nasty weather strikes, stay in the know with the upstate's largest staff of meteorologists 24/7 on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk. Charlie. Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right. If you folks are listening up in the Charlotte, Mecklenburg area, if you're listening in anywhere in North Carolina, please call into the program this evening. We definitely want to hear from you. Call in, text in. We want to know what you think about Operation Charlotte's Web that is going on. They've already rounded up 130 criminal illegal aliens. This was just since Saturday. And we've seen all the people. There was this one, they're attacking the officers. They're attacking them with vehicles. Saw this one trans person try to ram some Border Patrol agents at a gas station, then got into a high-speed pursuit. Did not end up well for that person. They're going to jail. We're seeing all of these people out there. They're showing up at these events with huge bags of whistles that had to be gotten from somewhere. I don't think you can go to, I don't know, I guess I'd go to, back in the day, I'd go to Party City, try to give me some whistles. I don't know where they're getting them from, but they're urging people to blow the whistle if ICE is around. They're alerting people where ICE is. They're interfering in a law enforcement activity and rounding up these criminal illegal aliens. So up in North Carolina, they've got a guy. What is his name here? Drew Reisinger. He's up in Buncombe County. He's the Register of Deeds in Buncombe County. Listen to what this guy says about ICE.
Hey friends, Drew Reisinger here. Just wanting to check in. I'm seeing a lot of information coming from North Carolina officials saying that immigration raids might be starting as early as Saturday, as early as this weekend. I know there's some real tendency to just say if ICE is coming with good intentions to get criminals off the streets, we welcome them with open arms. There's a certain point where I think we as Democrat officials just need to call a spade a spade. ICE is not well-intentioned. They're here specifically to terrorize our communities. They're not going after criminals. We've seen this again and again. I think it's incredibly important that we are just clear and honest with the community at this point. Customs and Border Patrol and ICE officials are specifically coming to terrorize communities of color, and I think it's really important that we call it what it is. Let's not pretend that these guys are coming here to help us with our crime rates. Crime rates in Charlotte, we know, are on the decline. Crime rates in Asheville are on the decline. So let's be real. They're not coming to help us, and we need to protect our immigrant communities.
Okay, we need to protect our immigrant communities. Follow CIMAWNC for verified updates. So this guy is actually putting out on that video that he had a tip line to let people know where ICE is going to be. Okay? Now, he says they're here to disrupt the community. You wonder, hey, who has ICE been arresting? Would you like to meet some of them? How about Jordan Castillo Chavez from Costa Rica? He was arrested for indecent liberties with a child, first-degree sexual exploitation of a minor, attempted statutory sexual offense with a child less than 15 years old, and solicitation of a child by a computer. He was released after authorities failed to honor an ICE detainer. Then you've got Jose Ulo Martinez from Honduras. This guy was arrested for murder. He was released after authorities failed to honor the ICE detainer. Osman Amando Paz Ortiz, arrested for sex offenses with a child, indecent liberties with a child, and sex acts by a substitute parent/guardian. He was released when they didn't honor the ICE detainer. Jefferson Moises Martinez Sorto, sexual battery, resisting an officer, fleeing, eluding arrest with a motor vehicle. They did not enforce the detainer. William Santos Roca. He was arrested for carrying a concealed weapon. The next day, he was arrested for DUI. He has previous arrests for hit and run and multiple DUIs, released after authorities did not honor the retainer. Carlos Manuel Portillo Guevara, arrested for carrying a concealed weapon, discharge of a weapon. Authorities failed to honor the ICE detainer. Olvin Calero Martinez, career criminal, vehicle theft, larceny, trespassing, burglary, forced entry, property damage, possession of stolen property, and drug possession. Released after authorities did not honor the ICE detainer. That's what's going on in Charlotte. And then I want you to listen to this woman. Her name is Corinne Mack. She calls herself the Reverend Corinne Mack. Listen to what she says.
We have a little man sitting in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue who really believes that Hitler was the greatest man ever on earth, whose whole vision is to be just like Hitler, and is trying to create a 1940s Germany right here in the United States. And like then, many people said, well, it's them, it's not me.
Aha. Now, she is the president of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg NAACP, the National African American Communist Party. Isn't that what NAACP stands for? I'm not real good with acronyms. Sorry if I messed it up. Let's go to Matthew. He's in Hendersonville. Matthew, what's your opinion on Operation Charlotte's Web?
Hey, Charlie. These people like that guy in Asheville, those kind of people are completely deranged. But you can kind of expect that from somebody up there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the illegal immigrant community is like up in Asheville. I just know that Asheville's, they're pretty much a bunch of weirdos up there.
Yeah, that's true.
But when it comes to like Charlotte, I mean, I'm so glad that they're coming in there and doing that. But I would imagine that most of the people that are protesting, with a small percentage of them are probably Americans, but most of them are probably illegals.
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at them. You're right, Matthew. Want to get to Jason from Moore. Jason, welcome.
Hey, what's up, Charlie?
This is it, man. What's going on?
Not much. The second time I called. Last week I called, talked to Heidi. Now I finally get to talk to Charlie.
What's going on, man?
So, ICE, right? Here's my thought on it. I just want to kind of open people's minds. I mean, ICE is a federal program, right? I mean, they're officers.
Yeah.
Right? So, in my opinion, all the stuff we talk about, people hating on ICE or whatnot, I mean, they're doing the investigations, pedophilia, murders, drugs, stuff that is really federally breaking the law.
Yep.
Why not? And the Democrats and the politicians will hate it on that side, but just infuse them with the FBI. Then they're all FBI. Because they're doing FBI work.
Well, I don't know why they don't do that. I don't know why they don't deputize those folks with the FBI. Jason, very good thought. I appreciate it. Let's go to George from Gastonia. George, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great, man. What's up? Go Dogs.
Finally got in.
All right.
I'm a first time caller.
Then you're going to get the bell? All right, man. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking about the ICE over here in the Charlotte area?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they are criminals, that's great. Get rid of all the criminals.
Yeah.
Get rid of some of them that are on food stamps and all that. But some of the other ones are not that bad, actually.
And those aren't the people they're rounding up, for the most part.
Well, that's a good thing. Yeah,
for the
that's
most
a good
part.
thing. Yeah, I'm glad they're getting rid of the criminals off the streets.
Absolutely. I don't see why anybody would have a problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Good. I'm glad.
I'm over here in Gastonia. They need to come over to Gastonia and do that.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? I appreciate it, George. Thank you. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Breaking news and what to make of it all with me, Mike Gallagher, tomorrow 10 to noon, right after Tara on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome back to the program. Let's go to Richard in Dallas. Richard, what do you think about Operation Charlotte's Web?
I think it's great, and I don't understand not only Charlotte, but all of these cities are where ICE is coming in there and helping them clean it up. I don't understand why they're objecting, or I don't understand who is objecting. Who is objecting to that?
You know
Charlie?
who's objecting? The little, young, white, and old liberals.
Is that it?
That's it. They're out. Richard, they were out there doing aerobics, 1980s style, to protest ICE. It was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life.
Listen, this guy up here in Buncombe County,
Yeah.
this deed guy, whoever he is,
Reisinger.
Register of Deeds.
Yeah.
After listening to him, I've heard him a couple of times there, and I'm just wondering if this person wears a dress and does his fingernails and wears lipstick.
He certainly does talk in a very effeminate voice.
Like
I know.
mean, listen.
I know.
But these ICE agents, I'm behind them 100%.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure most Americans are.
I do, yeah, and I agree with you. I think they are. I appreciate it, Richard. Here's what I think is going to happen, because they're already trying to ram them with cars. This is going to get to the point where they become unbelievably violent. It's not going to go well for them. Not going to go well for them. But somewhere out there, there's a group of these people, these radical leftists, Marxists. I'm trying to break myself. We talked about this a little earlier in the program. I'm trying to break myself from using the term leftist or even socialist. They're Marxist. That's what they are. So these radical Marxists out there that are doing all of this protesting, it's going to come to the point where lead's going to fly. And they're going to be the ones doing it. And then all hell is going to break loose. Let's go to Joe from Hendersonville. Joe, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
First-time caller, but not a first-time listener.
Well, then you're going to get the bell. All right. What's up, man?
I love it when you do your imitations. Oh my gosh,
I appreciate it.
You're an expert.
Thank you.
One of the thoughts I've had during almost all of these cities that have had so much chaos is the left, like you pointed out, the individual from Asheville who is the registry, creating chaos is actually causing these ICE agents and others to have to hurry to do their job.
Yeah.
So people will be caught up because they're in a hurry. They can't stick around.
Right.
So these leftists are actually causing some people who may not have been picked up if the agents had time, to take care of the individual.
Yeah.
But they're actually causing the chaos it's completely opposite of what they're suggesting. That's really all I wanted to say.
Well, you are exactly right, Joe, 100%. Let's go to Janice in Gastonia. Janice, welcome.
Hey, Charlie. Just wanted to check and see, have you seen on X where they're talking about that they're generating AI videos that's falsely showing ICE raids, showing they're attacking people when they're not?
I haven't seen any of them, but I'm not going to put that past them. Not going to put it.
Homeland Security was releasing some of the videos saying be careful about what you watch because they got some of them listed as New York Post when they're not valid posts at all.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that wouldn't, you know what, Janice, that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me a bit. I appreciate it because they're going to try to do everything they possibly can, especially in a place like Charlotte, which, by the way, heavy Democrat. There's only one Republican on the Charlotte City Council. I reached out to him today. I hope we can get him on the program to talk about this. But one lone Republican there. I don't really know the makeup of Mecklenburg County. But we've got these people. I mean, they're trying to get the illegal aliens off the street. They're concentrating on right now the most dangerous of them. Well, they need to take all of them. I'm sorry, I'm not one of these people that goes along with this whole thing that, well, they're not, just coming here illegally. That's not a criminal act. Yeah, I got an idea. Why don't you try to sneak into Canada and see what an illegal act looks like? Why don't you try to sneak into Mexico and see what an illegal act looks like? In fact, I would say, why don't you try to sneak into any country in the Western Hemisphere and see what an illegal act looks like? It is an illegal act. If it wasn't an illegal act, why'd you have to sneak in? So they're rounding these people up, and they're going to simply send them back home. Good. I don't have a problem with that. Especially, I just read to you that whole list of the crimes that some of these people that they have rounded up committed. It's going to keep on going on. But I'm telling you, these radical Marxists out there are going to become violent on this thing because they are emboldened. How are they emboldened? They're emboldened by the amount of money that's coming in. And it is coming in. These people are funded. They're funded by people like Action NC. They're funded by, Lord knows. I'm pretty sure George Soros' dirty little fingers are on all of this. A lot of it. But you don't just show up with bags of whistles and start handing them out to alert people where ICE is, unless you are funded. Right? We'll be right back. Oh, when we get back, President Trump is calling for the release of the Epstein files. This is the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Get breaking news sent straight to your phone for free. Download the Odyssey app. Follow News Talk 98.9 WORD. Stay in the know with the voice of the Carolinas. Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to Kenneth in Woodruff. How you doing, Kenneth?
Good, Charlie. I just want to make 2 points, and they kind of connect to each other once I get done with them.
All right.
The first point is that you sit here and said of all the things that these illegal immigrants that they are picking up, and you also said that they're mainly only picking up those people right now. And you also said that the people, the Marxists are going to get more violent.
Yeah.
Well, that already proves right there that they don't care about anybody else except themselves.
Right.
Because they're allowed to put those people back out on the street, and they're allowing, they're wanting to stop them from getting those people. So they don't care about the kids. They don't care about their fellow neighbors or anybody else.
Yeah.
And they also, if you look at all the last people that have done all the shooting, they've all been from the leftist side.
Sure.
So it's inevitable what's getting ready to happen, just like the man in the van.
Yeah, you're exactly right. All right, I appreciate it, Kenneth. Thank you. Let's go to Dog in Anderson. What do you think about ICE, Dog?
Well, let's take it back about a week when you were talking about all these people that in power that we're talking about how Trump's being a bad guy with ICE and the military and all that. And these politicians are doing their little thing to hold us back and do whatever against our country. Is there something called treason?
Oh, yeah, of course there is. And these people, these people always commit it.
That was one question, but I got some. Hold on. How's already in Sophie?
Well, they're doing great. They're spoiled rotten, and I know yours are too. I appreciate it, Dog. Thank you, buddy. And that's it. I mean, we've got law enforcement out there trying to protect communities. We've got people out there that want to stop law enforcement from protecting said communities, and therefore those people are for, and I've said it 1,000 times, Democrats love criminals. Democrats love crime. Why else would they let these criminals off so easy? Why else would they let them off so easy? Why else would they be trying to protect them? But again, we got to go back to that whole thing about oppression. Oh, it's oppression. These white people are so racked with white guilt because they've been taught that since the time they were in school and all through college and wherever they're just so wrapped up in their white guilt that they got to do something about it just to have some sort of penance. This is what they're doing. They're paying their penance by protecting these people, ultimately ruining their communities. Vinny's in Boiling Springs. Vinny, welcome.
Hey, Charlie.
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Oh, I know. Charlotte's Web it's so awesome. I hope they all continue on. It's a great idea. And I just want to add to the point, all these protesters, American citizens are not. If they're caught interfering with them, let them get charged here.
Yeah.
And whoever they're standing up for, whether it's Palestine or whether it's the Mexicans or the cartel, you make sure they retake their citizenship from them and send them over to their respective countries that they're standing for. Because it's obvious it's not for America anymore.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, it's not about America. They hate this country. I appreciate it, Vinny. They hate this country. Why? Because they're Marxist. I read to you a little bit earlier, J.D. Rucker did a great story about what's going on with the Democrat Party. And they're actually blaming now their loss to Donald Trump. They're blaming that on not being radical enough. They want to be more radical. And there are people out there that are actually preaching this to them. the only reason we lost to Donald Trump in the last election was that we weren't far enough to the left. So let's get even further to the left. And they think that's going to work. They truly do. They think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work, but they do. They really do. So anyway, well, now President Trump has saying that he wants the Epstein files to be released. And again, here are the Democrats doing Democrat things, man. Doing Democrat things. I want you to listen to Chuck Schumer. When somebody asked him a question, listen to how he sidesteps this question. Here we go.
Senator, on that note, just I guess a question that's out there. Why wouldn't they have been released the last 4 years when President Biden was in office?
Well, that's the question every American is asking. Not every American, but so many Americans are asking. What the hell is he hiding?
Wait, hold on. That was not the question. The question was, if it was so important to release the Epstein files, why wasn't it done under Joe Biden? Why didn't this happen under Joe Biden? Nobody questioned the Epstein files under Joe Biden. None of the Democrats called. Chuck Schumer didn't call for the Epstein files to be released under Joe Biden. Nobody even talked about the Epstein files hardly on the Democrat side under Joe Biden. But now they want the Epstein files. So Donald Trump says, okay, vote on it. Let's go. Let's get it done. So it looks like they're going to vote tomorrow. But I think what you're going to find out is there's a lot more connection with the Democrats and Jeffrey Epstein than they want you to realize. And for this, we got to go to a delegate from the Virgin Islands, Stacey Plaskett. Stacey Plaskett is a member of Congress, but she's not a congresswoman. She's a delegate from the Virgin Islands. That means she gets to vote in committee, but she does not get to vote on the floor. Let's take you back to 2023 and listen to what Stacey Plaskett said.
Having Trump not only have had the codes, but now having the classified information for Americans and being able to put that out and share it in his resort with anyone and everyone who comes through should be terrifying to all Americans, and he needs to be stopped.
I'm sorry, he needs to be what? He needs to be what? 11 months later, Thomas Crook, Butler, Pennsylvania. September 2024, Ryan Wesley Ruth attempted to shoot President Trump. Now, this was a woman that in 2019, she was in the Michael Cohen testimony, and I want you to listen to this. This is from the Wall Street Apes, and it's pretty darn good.
Epstein messaged Delegate Stacey Plaskett while she questioned Michael Cohen. She was actively texting with Epstein during a 2019 House Oversight Committee hearing. While Plaskett grilled President Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen, Epstein appeared to be providing real-time coaching, with timestamps matching her questions and his messages. Newly released estate texts are part of Oversight Committee pages. They come from the Oversight Committee. 20,000 pages released from the Epstein files. They show Epstein sending short notes to Democrat delegate Stacey Plaskett. Rona, good work. Are you chewing? Plaskett's office confirms she got texts from many sources, including Epstein. Records also show past donations from Epstein. She was actively being coached and paid by Epstein after he was convicted of sexual trafficking. For years, the media peddled the lie that Epstein had no ties to Democrats. Yet, here he was meddling in official proceedings targeting the America First leader. The facts are massive. A registered sex offender, entangled in global elite networks, had a direct line to Capitol Hill, potentially swaying inquiries against Trump.
Wow. How about that? So Stacey Plaskett was getting text from Jeffrey Epstein during the Michael Cohen hearing. Well, Hakeem Jeffries was asked about that today.
Peter Tucker. Why should Americans trust you and House Democrats on the Jeffrey Epstein files when one of your own, Congresswoman Plaskett, was found to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing, getting information from him, using that in her questioning during a congressional hearing And at one point, he tells her, "Good job."
This is a bipartisan effort to make sure that
He's a bipartisan. He sidesteps that one, too. Tell you what, we'll take a quick break and be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome back to the program. Let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to Roger in Taylor's. How you doing, Roger?
I'm doing good, Charlie.
All right.
Listen, you're going to have to explain something to me. There's so much going on in politics. I thought that either Trump or Bondi had called for the release of all the Epstein stuff, but you had judges that wanted to be president.
Yeah.
That blocked part of it. How can Congress release it if judges aren't letting it be released?
That's a good question. That is a real good question. Judges have blocked the release of specific Now, these are not all the files. These are the grand jury transcripts that the Justice Department, this happened back in August and September. A Manhattan judge called the government's request to release transcripts of the Ghislaine Maxwell investigation a diversion and said they contain no new information. Then you got a Florida judge that said her hands were tied by precedent. So I think there might be a bit of a difference between the Epstein files and Ghislaine Maxwell's files. But we will find out. The president has called for this. It's going to happen by vote. And I think one of the reasons that he wants it to come up to a vote tomorrow is because he wants these people on record. He wants these people on record.
It gets confusing.
Yeah.
I tell you, I always pray that the Lord shows us kindergarten style what these people are about. But it just gets so confusing. It wouldn't surprise me if a judge comes in and blocks the people that are on the left that are on there, that you can't release that, but you can release the stuff where the people on the right are in it. It just, Charlie, our government's just,
it's a mess. It is a mess. You're right, Roger. Appreciate it. Well, just a couple of days ago, House Democrats prevented a quick vote on legislation that will require the Justice Department to release all files on Jeffrey Epstein. Who did that again, Charlie? The Democrats prevented that vote? How about that? The Democrats did that. And they're the ones that have been screaming for the release of the Epstein files. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Speaking of Ghislaine Maxwell, Jamie Raskin, that wascoey wabbit, Jamie Raskin, was actually caught doing a little dirty dealing here. Jamie Raskin it's been revealed that Jamie Raskin was involved in a plot where prison staffers stole Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney-client emails. And what did he do with them? Well, the staff stole them. The jail staff stole them, gave them to Jamie Raskin. Jamie Raskin leaked it to the media to try to smear President Trump. Didn't work, but he tried it. Now, remember, Jamie Raskin was on the January 6th committee. Do you know how much money, how much taxpayer money the J6 Commission wasted? They spent $17 million. $17 million to hire actors and Hollywood producers on that January 6th committee to try to make Trump look bad. $17 million. Now we find out that Jamie Raskin is actually, this is theft. Why has Jamie Raskin not been indicted? Jamie Raskin should be sitting in jail right now. If you broke into somebody's office, let's say you broke into a lawyer's office, and you stole emails from that office, and you use those emails to try, to benefit yourself in some way, do you think you'd go to jail for that? I would. I would go to jail for that. You would go to jail for that. But I guess Jamie Raskin's a Democrat. They don't go to jail for that. That's pretty unbelievable. So we'll see what happens tonight. Well, tomorrow, actually, they're going to be voting on this. And again, I don't think this is something that the Democrats will really want. Let's take a look. Let's see how they vote. Let's see. There you go. You and your audience can't subscribe people as Marxists when they're actually just deranged and people are like mockingbirds. They hear people like you and Levin chirp and bark Marxist, then they repeat. Okay, there you go. 461, I think I've had it with you. I think that was your last text to the program. Charlie, what about Adam Schiff? What about Adam Schiff? What about all of them? What about any of these people? What about any of these people over on the Democrat side that have just been, the amount of laws that they break. And if I've got a problem with Pam Bondi, and I do have a problem with Pam Bondi, is there has been a lot of talk and very little action. They're even now talking about throwing the Jim Comey case out of court. That is a failure of the Department of Justice. That is an absolute failure of the Department of Justice. This guy was leaking information. Jamie Raskin was leaking information. Eric Swalwell was leaking information. All of these people were leaking information. And how many of them have gone to jail? Just take a look. Just take a look at how many people the Democrats went after, how many people they jailed, how many people they broke, bringing them before the FBI, bringing them before the courts. Look at George Papadopoulos, General Flynn. Look at Jerome Corsi. Look at all of these people. And that's what really worries me about what is going on up in Charlotte, about all of these people that are blocking the ICE agents and interfering with ICE agents. If they get arrested, and it's maybe a state or a local charge, you know those cases are going to be thrown out. And if they get arrested on federal charges, well, all you got to do is look up and see who the district judge is up there in Charlotte, and you know those cases are going to be thrown out as well. That is lawfare, and they've been using it both offensively and defensively. Y'all have a lovely evening. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. As always, we love you. God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.